Hi, this is UOB Talks, the show that asks you about today's pressing issues, and today we're talking about the Sun's page 3 controversy. What is your opinion on page 3, and do you think it should be allowed?
I don't think it should be allowed. Very much like the debate that's been going on at the moment. I agree that it objectifies women. They've got like token tagline as though they've got a thought. And I just think it's ridiculous that it's like this day and age and there's still images of women in papers that kids can see.
I don't really think it should be there purely because you don't have like, images of guys there. I think it's objectifying women. I'm not a fan. I don't understand why it's the news. A newspaper should be surely detailing events, current affairs.
I'm all for normalising sex because I think that's one of the ways that we can be a lot more open to breaking gender roles and encouraging healthy sexual and romantic relationships. But the fact is, page 3, all of the women who feature it are thin, white, big-breasted, and we are to assume heterosexual.
It's like, it's there. I've never really taken any notice of it. And I see why some people would want it. I also see why a lot of people wouldn't want it. But I don't really care about it enough.
Do you think the temporary stopping of page 3 was just purely a publicity stunt?
Yes. Yeah, the next day when it was then back to boobs, I thought it was quite, obviously not a good thing, but quite impressively done.
I'm not convinced that it was a publicity stunt because it wasn't like they went and made a big official, we're going to stop page 3.
I don't know, really. I've never really thought about it. It could be. But I think with the current situation, as in recently people are there's a lot of feminist movements, so maybe that has a reason, all the backlash towards that.
100%, especially if you consider that the other Murdoch-owned paper, which is The Times, published something alluding to the ending of page 3. It was very deliberate. The thing that I hate the most about it is that it was baiting people, baiting activists, baiting women specifically.
If you had to guess, how many years would you say page 3 has been around for?
Too long. Since the 80s.
30 to 40 years.
I honestly I wouldn't have a clue. 20 years maybe.
50 years?
Decade.
20 years?
20 years or, well, yeah.
40?
Very close. It's actually 44 years. Why do you think it's only now become a current issue?
I guess when things are going on for so long, it kind of just becomes tradition and people don't really question it. I think maybe because of the rise of the new wave of feminism with Emma Watson and stuff like that, that maybe it's only now that they're starting to question things that are so public, like page 3.
I think women are much more loud about their opinions now. Even men, there's a lot of movements towards women's rights.
I guess it's always been an issue to groups, and especially feminist groups, but feminism hasn't really been topical until recently, I guess, or at least given platform in media to be discussed.
Because I feel like more and more women have found their voices, more and more women have realised the way that we're treated by society is not okay. Obviously, women, 30, 40 years ago, the feminist movement was big in the 70s, but more and more women are feeling more confident, more powerful about standing up against page 3.
Do you think the debate on objectifying women in page 3 should take preference over objectifying women on the internet, for example?
I think they should both be discussed equally. Medium doesn't really affect an issue. If an issue needs to be addressed, it should be addressed.
I think they go hand in hand. They're caused by the same thing. They're propagated by the same people. I feel like this is a very particular fight that's a lot easier for us to win. It's a lot harder to have control about things that go on the internet, especially with the availability of so much free pornography.
And finally, if there was a role reversal, and if page 3 used similar images of men, do you think that there would be the same sort of controversy and the same demand for its removal?
God, no.
Why?
Have you ever watched This Morning?
No.
Okay, I have 2 sisters who'd watch it all the time. And on it one time, they had men on there in their boxers jumping up and down on a small trampoline closed up on the crotchal area to see how much movement there was. No one seemed to think that was a bad thing.
Not initially. Maybe if you left it for 44 years, but yeah, no, I think it would be just a joke if it was reversed.
Probably not if it was kind of the same society as we have now. Maybe if men had always been the ones who'd been like objectified and stuff like that, then maybe it would be that have like the same level of controversy. But if it was simply just that it was a man, I don't think we would have that same debate.
I think you shouldn't. I think it's equally as objectifying towards the male sex as it is to the women's sex. So no.
No, because the thing you tend to find with naked images of men is that they're not about being sexual objects. It's about showing these kind of images of male dominance and male power. So if you look at, for example, a cover of Men's Health, it's a big, naked, muscly man looking powerful, standing dominant in front of the camera. Look at the pictures of women in page 3. They're submissive. They're contorting their bodies into strange positions. It's very much there for the male gaze. It's not very common that men are portrayed in this kind of other way where they're a little bit less dominant, where they're more submissive. I don't think there would be the same backlash because there isn't the same societal power behind objectification of men as there is of women.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.